Welcome to Omae TV channel. Omae is an Igala word meaning my brother, my sister. This is what we'll be doing on this channel. We'll be inspiring you through the right information to be the best brother or sister that you should be.
Great. So, good evening, everyone. This is Staying Sane with Akoji. Remember last week, I dropped a flyer on my platform saying we're going to talk about Japa. And on this session on Staying Sane, I have Chelsea. Chelsea, do you want me to add your surname to it? Chelsea Jacob, right?
That's
to this
right.
session. Okay, fine. Then we are also expecting Sam J. I used to call him the boss man. So Sam J will be joining us in the middle of all this. But before we go ahead, Chelsea, do you want to introduce yourself formally? I know I've mentioned your name. What else do you
Hi,
want to talk about? Yeah.
hi everyone. My name is Chelsea Jacob with the
Mm.
surname. I'm a digital marketer, actually acquiring my masters on the way to acquire my masters. Yeah. I don't know. Do you want me to add anything? Oh yeah, I'm single.
Are you single, Chelsea? Are you sure you're single, Chelsea? I'm
I'm
not sure, but
single.
I'll keep that one offline.
I'm
Yeah.
single and certain in case there are actually nice guys out there,
Oh,
single and certain. As you can see, no ring on my finger.
Chelsea, the rings don't count. Most times the rings don't count. These days,
It
even some of
does.
us that have the rings, they still question if it's genuine or not. Yeah, so
Yeah.
once again, thank you, Chelsea, for accepting to talk to us about this topic. Though I know it's a very sensitive topic, a lot of persons in Nigeria have been easy migrating, and then we have this common term, Japa, kept coming up, and people have been saying, I want to leave Nigeria because of this, because of that. But what does that word Japa really mean? I think that's something for me. What's even the source? Do you know, Chelsea? Or do you
I
even know the
think
full meaning?
I think Japa started from, I don't know if it's Pidgin language or Yoruba. So there was a song
Okay.
that had Japa, Japa. So it was like run away, run away. That was what the song was about. So people started using that. Like when someone says, "Oh, they've left the country," you're like, "Ah, you don't Japa." So Japa simply means
Mm,
like running away.
mm.
Yeah. So I think it was picked up from that song, but I'm not sure if it's a pidgin word or a Yoruba
Okay.
word. So I'm not sure.
I have that feeling that is a Yoruba word. That's my thinking though. Jakba, it sounds Yoruba, like Yoruba.
No, I don't really know, but I know it started from that song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jackpa, but I'm not sure where it was from.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay, I think we don't even know the source, and I'm not sure. But again,
Yeah, but if you ask Google, Google explains it as an ancient practice in which there's a mantra or a name of a deity. That's what Google says it
mm,
is. But we know when
mm-hmm,
used in Nigeria, it means to
mm-hmm,
run away, basically.
to run away.
Yes.
So, are you saying Nigerians are running away?
Obviously, like
What?
why else would people leave all they have built for years
Mm-hmm,
in Nigeria
mm-hmm,
and move to a foreign land and start
mm-hmm,
all over from scratch? Because it's not like you're moving to a country where everything is readily available for you. It's very,
mm-hmm,
very different. I know we'll still get into all those questions. So people are literally running because of, I think the reasons I know of, one is
mm,
because security. We have security
mm,
issues in Nigeria. Nobody
mm-hmm,
is certain of the time something would happen to you. It would, like people say online, Nigeria will happen
mm-hmm,
to you any day, anytime. So people are scared of Nigeria happening to them. So most of them are leaving the country. Why for others, jobs, they are not like, you see people working Monday to Sundays and their job
mm-hmm,
pays really, really low.
mm.
Yeah. But I think one thing people misunderstand is when people come to the UK or relocate abroad, they tell you, hey, like, I worked 2 hours, 3 hours, and I was paid £300. And that's like 300K in Naira, or with the
Mm,
present exchange rate, that's more than 300K. And then
mm,
other people be like, what? Really? What they fail to understand is yes, you're paid that amount, you are taxed ridiculously, you pay rent
mm,
here monthly.
mm.
Like, why are
Chelsea,
you
don't go
converting?
into don't go into that. Just hold
Okay,
that. Just hold your
okay,
thought there. So
okay.
yeah, so I think the interesting part and the question I want to ask you is about
Mm.
the core reason. Maybe my first question will be around the core reason. Why do you think people are leaving Nigeria?
Well,
Now,
I think it's
now,
like,
now the surface. Now, let me just give you a bit of a context. The surface is like, uh, we are suffering. The economy is bad. I'm not being paid well. Those are some of the common excuses. Then you hear issues around my job. Uh, I'm not getting. They said my take home is no longer taking me home. Then you hear things around. Is I'm unemployed because I graduated 2 3 years ago. There's no job. So, but all these reasons put together, do you think that's why Nigerians are leaving? Do
I
you
think
really
it's all
agree
of
with those
I think
excuses?
it's all of that, and
Mm-hmm.
also coupled with the security.
Mm,
Yeah, I also fear for the future. To be honest, even as much as things are not working in Nigeria, and some things are working here, even when you try to like look at them from both angles, there's pros and cons to both of it. There
mm,
are pros and cons to moving abroad and staying abroad. The health system works. No matter who you are, the health system works for you. It is literally there for you. It's at your beck and call.
mm-hmm,
Food is very affordable. Literally, like we have like very cheap stores that you can go to and buy like the most affordable food. Like food is very, very affordable. So looking at all of that and looking at what's happening in Nigeria, like food is like crazy expensive at the moment in Nigeria. Transportation has skyrocketed. And
mm,
with all of this happening, most companies didn't even increase the pay of their employers, of their employees, sorry. They didn't increase the pay. So how are people supposed to cope with that? And then
mm,
the one thing I know people complain about is the healthcare system also. In Nigeria, why do you think the influential people go abroad for medical care? Because no matter the money you have in Nigeria, you will die. You will die going to any Nigerian hospital, you will die. So I think that's what people
mm,
look at. They'll tell you that they're looking long term. For family
mm,
people, I've heard most family people tell me, I'm doing it for my children, for a better future for my children,
mm.
to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's another part I've heard from parents, and I've heard a lot of my friends who say, "Oh, I don't want to really leave Nigeria, but because of my baby, I want my baby to have that touch of Yankee, that Yankee touch." You understand? So,
It's not, I don't
that,
think it's the Yankee touch, It's the fact
okay.
that, for example, you carry your Nigerian CV and go and apply to an international company. Like they would
Mm,
first of all recognize someone from Kenya than you from Nigeria. No, no shades, no
interesting.
shades. I'm not trying to shade anybody, right?
Okay.
But they'll first
Okay.
of all recognize those ones. Like when you move to another country and
Mm,
people look at you, like I've heard people say, you don't look Nigerian, you don't act Nigerian,
mm,
you're not this because for some reason we have a bad reputation out there.
mm,
So even when applying for international jobs, they'll really before you be considered is if you've probably gone abroad, schooled abroad, lived abroad for a while, or worked with international
mm.
companies. If not, you are not
Yeah.
considered. Other people have high chance. So the reason why people are doing this is so that their children can actually have a chance at least for a better future.
Interesting.
That's literally the
Interesting.
reason.
So with the experience you've had for some months or even close to a year now, you've been living in the UK. How I wish we have Sam J here on this to give us his own perspective from Canada. But before he joins, maybe let's look at the UK perspective. Will you say from the experience you've had so far, should Nigerians still come to UK? I know a lot of them are coming. Even as I speak to you, some of them are even on their way now, or possibly some of them are packing. Maybe some will be leaving tomorrow morning. Will you
To be
say they
honest,
should
that's a very
continue?
tricky
Yeah.
question. That's a tricky question. Like for me, I always say I would never tell you not to leave. I would never tell anybody that. Whatever works for you. But think about it. Make sure you're not leaving to go and suffer. Have everything
Mm,
in place. Check all the boxes. But whatever works for you. I'm not that person that would tell you don't leave. I mean, I left. Like you have everybody has different reasons for leaving. So you have to have a good reason for leaving. So if you want to leave, fine. But the only
mm,
thing I would say is Nigerians should stop considering just the UK and Canada. There are literally other countries out there with great opportunities. Stop consider. I get that everybody wants to go to the country that's English speaking. I totally get
mm,
that. But there are other countries out there who have
mm,
better conditions, better working conditions, better opportunities for you to get citizenships or your PR quicker. But
mm.
everybody keeps moving.
Wow.
You know, it's like I think Nigerians are more quicker to follow the crowd.
Like the bandwagon effect, right?
Yes, like
Everybody,
everybody is
let's
moving
just,
this way.
yeah,
Let's just we're not even thinking
let's
about why
just,
are they moving. We don't care. Let's just go. Let's
we don't
everybody
care,
just
let's
go.
just go.
Let's just move. I think that's what's happening. Like if
Mm,
I had my way, I'll use myself as an example. I moved to the UK because I was looking to further my education. So I was already
mm,
working in a very good job, of course, but I wanted to grow. I didn't want to remain in the same place. And I noticed in order for you to grow in the sector where I was, you need some sort of international certificate. And of
mm,
course, like when people look at certificates from online masters and physical masters, of course they always do that because physical masters comes with experience of living abroad. Online masters does not come with experience of living abroad. So that's very,
yeah.
very different. Yeah. So that was the reason why I relocated because I've always wanted to get an international degree. And then aside getting an international degree, I did my research for
Mm,
the top 100 schools in the world.
mm,
And then I decided to apply to one of it because I'm not just looking right now, everybody's coming to the UK for masters. So there are 1,001 graduates out there. So what would
yeah.
stand out is where did you school?
Mm.
Are
Where
you
did
one
you
of like
school?
first of all, people look at where you schooled and be like, oh, okay, this is a recognized school, like we have graduates. And aside as that, do my school also have this thing, they have a platform
Mm,
where like there are so many employers. They created a platform for all the students, so you can put in your CV, sell yourself even while you're still a student, and employers come
wow.
there. Employers have
Wow.
access
Wow.
to the
Wow.
platform, so they can like text you. Like say an employer in marketing is looking for, so they would see all the suggestions of marketing students at the moment,
Mm.
and then they can drop you a message and ask you, hey, they have this role available, are you willing to have a conversation? They also advertise roles on there. So it like for me it was more of career progression, to be honest.
Whoop. Interesting perspective there. So, Chelsea, my question to you is if I'm a Nigerian now and I'm insisting, I'm saying, Japa, we die here. I must leave, even if it means I need to sell everything. Maybe even if I plan, I know it's not even ideal, but if I need to sell the last clothes I have in my wardrobe, I need to leave this country. What should I maybe consider? What are the things I should put at the back of my mind before making
How are
that
you
move?
coming and why are you coming? To be honest,
Hmm.
that's what I would say.
So wait, just hold on there. Why am I coming?
Yes.
And the second is what?
How are you
And
coming?
how? Okay, the why
Yes.
and the how. Okay, let's pick them one after the other. So why? Why did you say why am I coming? So what
For
should
the
I look
why,
at
if
about that?
if it's like it's the same way people say if you're jumping into marriage with just the
Hmm,
fact that you don't want to be lonely, that's why you're entering marriage, you will fail. You will fail. So
interesting.
that's just a simple explanation to this. Like if you are running here just because you don't want to be in Nigeria anymore, trust me,
I don't want to be a Nigerian anymore. So is
depression will
that
hold
enough
you.
reason?
Depression will hold you by the waist. It's not all,
Interesting.
to be honest. Then you know when people are sitting on the fence, it looks
Hmm,
very, very fresh and greeny on the other side until you reach
hmm,
there. Then you
hmm.
realize that it's just the middle. It's just the middle that has green. The other side is
Interesting.
brown.
Why
Yeah.
am I doing it? So it's critical. Yeah, that question why, I think it's not just even for traveling, in a lot of stuffs we do. Like the why is very critical, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
if someone is saying I'm leaving Nigeria, maybe to the UK, to Canada, to US, why? Am I living there to school? Am I living there maybe as a permanent
Did you
resident?
get a
Am I
job?
living there to
Yeah.
go get a wife or go get a spouse or like a husband and all that? Why? So the how now, how would you advise me
How
to
is
go?
what route? That's what I was talking
Hmm,
about in the how. Because
okay.
like in the job I'm working in right now, I deal with people who have entered the country illegally. And
Hmm,
trust me, it is not a funny thing. Like, do not. I think that was one of the advice somebody gave me when I was coming. The person told me
hmm,
that never think you are smarter than the UK government.
hmm,
They will leave you and let you think you are smart and do what you are doing. But one day
hmm,
is for the honor. That one day when they come, I see a lot of Nigerians going through that. A lot of
hmm,
Nigerians. So never think you are that smart. If you're going to come into the UK, come in legally. Do
hmm,
everything. Try to do everything legally. If you know the way a lot of people don't trust Nigerians, they don't trust
hmm,
Nigeria. So it's very tricky. In fact, even at entrance at the airport, I could remember the day I was coming at the airport, a guy was turned back. Literally. Not because he did not have his papers, just because he could not answer the basic questions. Being in Nigeria, first of all, is like a ticking time bomb for you. So make sure everything you're doing is legal. Make sure everything you're doing is legal.
yeah, I agree with you on that part. Maybe in few of my trips too, I've experienced that a lot. Like literally, like being in Nigeria, like they just write it on your forehead. You are a
Yep, it's a
Nigerian,
time bomb. What
and
that your
yeah,
passport, your green passport.
exactly. So I think I remember the one I told you from is in Nigerian to Bangladesh that they pulled us out.